It sounds preposterous to save 100 hours, but really, that's exactly what I want us to be able to do because I really think that it's possible. And I know from my own perspective that I've wasted a lot of time doing work here and work there and work there. And I know that I don't have to do that. We've already been chatting with a group here, and we know that a lot of people are using Google Drive, which is great. That's exactly what we're going to be using. Tonight in this presentation, we are actually working. So we are using the webinar format. I'll walk you guys through that in just a little bit. With such a small group, I really want us to be able to chat if we can. I'm happy to upgrade you to panelist if you raise your hand, and I'll walk us through how that system is going to work. Today, our goal is to set up our organization systems, learning not only from me, but from the group as well. By the end of this jam-packed workshop, you are going to have your data systems, possibly your organization systems, maybe even your folders set up, and or your emails and your communication systems with teachers and parents. So I hope that you are ready to work because I know that the people who do put in the work, very much like yourself, see incredible results. Specifically in this area, we're talking about Clarity, which is our incredible professional development membership where the entire goal is to save you time. Maria's in Clarity, and she said that she doesn't know how she would have survived COVID with the materials that cover a variety of age ranges. Now, we started this during COVID, and we have 40 members who are still with us since that time because we keep reiterating it's not just a library of resources, but it is a living and breathing system. But before we get into that, here are some things that we're going to have to know during this back to school bash because it's our first time doing a back to school bash. And my gosh, it's absolutely the best. I'm noticing a lot of formatting issues between Canva and PowerPoint. We're just gonna roll with it. So we have a lot of different events happening. Tonight, Simplified Organization Systems. The next week, What's in Your Bag with Jill Brown. It's an updated presentation from her TVI Symposium presentation. And then if you haven't been with us before, 21st Century Success walks you through the 4 pillars of teaching students with visual impairments. And so if you are new to us and you're a teacher, like a classroom teacher, SPED or general ed, this will walk you through the 4 pillars that I train my teams on. And if you are an expert, a TVI O&M, then this will help you to understand how to develop your own trainings for your teachers and or see what's inside one of our signature programs, which is VI Foundations, that is bridging the gap between the experts and the educators. Then we also are going to have a CVI best practices meetup in our community app. This is for premium pass members. This is also for our Clarity members. You get free premium pass, and it's all available until the 14th. Tonight for communication, because we're in webinar and I do still want you to be able to chat, see if you can raise your digital hand when you have something to say. You're also welcome to put it in the chat box. I can see the chat as it's going along. You'll notice that sometimes I'll read it and sometimes I won't, but I'll circle back around. If you have something to say, please feel free. You are also the expert here to share your expertise in this area. If there's something that is working for you, or if you have a question, you're welcome to put it in that chat. We also have a Q&A section that I'll also be monitoring. So if you have like a specific question, you're welcome to use that. To me, it really doesn't matter. I will try to grab your question wherever you put it. But if you put up your hand, your digital hand, that tells me I want to come on camera and I want to share my expertise, or I want to come on camera and I want to ask a question. So that's how our communication is going to go today. And I break all this down for you, not the communication piece, but also everything we're doing within the back to school bash, because I truly believe that we need an entire library of resources. I like how there's just one word. In order for us to be the best type of teacher possible because it's not just do one rep and you get swole. It's not just teach one lesson and you're good. It's something that you have to do day in and day out. You have to get your reps in. And unfortunately, that gets pretty boring if you're not following a system and you don't have fresh ideas and your students need more than you can provide, or you don't have all the time in the world to lesson plan. So today, I want to know what you need to work on. We have three things that we can get done, but I want to go with the majority. What's your top priority? Put a one in the chat if it's your digital organization system in total. Like you just want to overhaul your digital organization system. We will be using Google Drive, but you can use anything. I'll tell you why in a second why I like Google Drive. Two would be your data collection system, and three is your parent and teacher communication system. If we have time to do all of those, we will, but I'm going to start with the first one that I see the majority of. I'm not doing anything fancy like an actual poll. That would be a little bit more scientific, but we've got a lot of twos, a lot of ones. Okay. Oh, it looks kind of split. Okay, one, two, three. Oh my gosh. Okay, then we'll just do both. Let's start with our digital organization system and then go into our data collection so we have a folder for what we're doing, okay? Does that sound good? Since it seems pretty even. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna stop my share and I'm gonna share something different. I made a document for us today and I'll go ahead and put that in the chat so that you have a copy of it. If you are watching the replay, there will also be a link below this video to it. Everything I'm going to share with you is view only, so please make your own copy. Give me a thumbs up or something when you guys can open it. There we are. And I thought I had specifically done that for you. Okay. So now you got it. Okay, cool. Go ahead and make yourself a copy. And I'll do my best not to rush us. So before, when I asked, you guys said that you use Google Drive. So do I. And here's why I use Google Drive specifically, just in case you don't and you you're having some objections around that, and it's a-okay to have objections. Here's my perspective. I am not doing double work. I'm over it. I'm not doing it anymore. I used to take notes one place and then have to transfer them and then have to transfer them, or taking notes on a sticky note, or no, not doing it. I don't want to do duplicate work, and this is accessible from any device. It's accessible on my phone, it's accessible on my computer, it's accessible at any school that I go into. As a contract staff, I typically don't have internet access at the schools. And so what I have to do is log in at the computer at the desk there and then send it over to somebody else. Well, it's a mess. So I use Google Drive because I can access it from anywhere. Also, Google Drive is FERPA compliant if you're on the education or business level plans. So I think it was Patty who said that you're looking for something else. Um, Honestly, if you've used up all of your bandwidth, which is normal to do, if you are a contract staff, I would highly recommend separating it out between your personal and your business and only using it for business and making that a monthly expense. If you're on the education level, then you need to ask your IT person. If you're like W-2 employee, for more access. Yes, I can. Oh, thanks, Ashley. Somebody asked if we could put the link in the chat. Also, it saves automatically, and then there's forms, sheets, docs, and Cynthia's going to teach us about Google Keep because I don't use that. So, talk to me, you guys. How do you set up your folders? What is your overall macro system? What do you start with? Let's go macro to micro. Do you start with your districts? Do you start with the school year? Talk to me about that. And while you do that, I'm going to see if I can pull up a different window so that way I can log into my Google Drive without showing anything illegal. Okay. So we've got school year, we've got the number one, so it comes up on top. And then the school year, we've got school year. Some people do vision versus O&M district. One folder called VI caseload inside for each student, last name, first name, perfect school year, then subfolders for each area. Okay, great. So if you guys want to raise your digital hand somehow, let me see if I can see it. If you want to, if someone wants to talk me through that, let's see. Student folder and then district subfolders. Okay. And then she has this, and Ashley has a TVI folder. Ooh, are people raising their hands? She has a TVI folder that houses all the things. In this folder, it has all the resources. Okay. And then someone does student folders with subfolders for each school year and materials. Okay. So Jody, and you guys are going to choose your own system. You're walking yourself through this today. Jody does school year file, then student folders and subfolders for each student. And then a caseload folder and then student subfolder. All right. So we've got a few different options here. It sounds like we've got year and then student happening. Sounds like we have also, we've got service and then student and then year happening. Team-wide, we have a caseload folder using Excel. Okay. Jody, how does everybody access the Excel? And how do they work on it together? Like if I opened this up right here, you guys could all work on it together. So now I'm going to put on some music. And here's a question for you guys. Should we do the O&M Symposium playlist that is super upbeat, or should we do something low and chill? We're all going to set up our folders now. We're going to have about 5 minutes or so, probably a little bit less, to set up our folder system, and then I will do it and you guys can do it at the same time. Cynthia says her work also is a shared folder that all the teachers have access to, and we can put resources and documents in, such as signed permission slips. You want upbeat, B? Cool. Ashley says she does caseload, student folder, year for yearly things, otherwise main documents, current FIE, VE, signature pages, just lived in the student folder rather than separating it out by year. Love that. Okay, I promised you we would save time, right? Let's go ahead and get to work. Um, we do have we do have a request for upbeat, so we're gonna put on the O&M Symposium. If you've never been to the O&M Symposium, we have a playlist that is very upbeat. I'll put on one upbeat song. And we'll go ahead and get this started, and I will switch my screen so that way you can see what I'm doing as well. That's my chill music. There we go. Okay, and then Cynthia's saying for each student, she has it broken down into school years and then subfolders for IEP, info, evals, lessons, student work. Perfect. So the way that I really like to start it also, you guys, is I start off with my caseload at a glance. Because my caseload changes every year. And so I will pause this music so I can talk. You guys keep working, and I'm just, if you want to pop your head up, you can look. So what I'll end up doing is have the last name, first name, IEP date, FIE date, direct minutes, indirect minutes for my entire caseload. I also personally need my rate on this page, travel, and my frontline username since it's going to be different. Typically, I would just make a copy of the last year's one, but I will do it separate because this will be on the internet. Yep, it's all on the simple organization sheet, Christy. I linked everything that we're using. And let me make sure, it looks like you guys are there too. Cool. So also, I told you my naming convention, right? I have 3 out of my 5 or 6 students have the same initials. So I had to drop the initials thing and move to something that was still FERPA compliant, but gave me a little bit more information. So I'm gonna make up some stuff for their names, again, just because internet, but FIE is the full and individual evaluation. Because those things creep up on me and I do not like it. Better. Okay. So this music's okay? It's working music. Laura asks if I have one caseload at a glance for all of my districts or one for each district. One caseload at a glance for the entire caseload for that year. So it has all of my districts all at once. And then what I can do is I can also link my students folder if I want to somewhere in here. And if I get really fancy, then I can put this document, I can pull it up on my phone and then put it either as a home page or in a folder in my phone, so it's easy to access. We're gonna work on this for about, let's do like 3 or 4 more minutes, okay? Until 7:30 and then we'll switch. Sorry. Yes, Christy, that's what I do is the last 5 of their surname. You can choose whatever works for you. That's obviously not their whole first and last name. Keep working. I'm just going to show one more other thing that I do. That is separate from my data. Someone's asking the playlist. This is just lo-fi beats. Lo-fi is my favorite type of music. You can also look up chill hop or chilled cow. Yeah. I'm gonna show you guys, keep working. We've got about 5 more minutes to set our stuff up. I'm gonna show you my student profile template. I don't know why I call it this, but I do. This is a separate document that is not in with my data, although I am thinking about having all of the information in my data forms for next year and playing with that and seeing how it goes. But what I do, and I'm going to lower the music a little bit, but keep working. We have about 4 minutes left. I've had this system probably for 10 years, so it might be time to retire it. I just make a table and then I make the lines white so I can't see them. But each student gets their own profile sheet. And then whenever I have communication with anybody in Texas, our IEPs are called ARDs. So then I can list, so was it an ARD? Was it parent communication, teacher contact folder review? And then this isn't anything official. It's just when I'm in an IEP meeting and the speech language pathologist says reads at a 4th grade level, I'm like, oh, cool, 4th grade level. And then I can look up, what does that mean? What questions can I be asking that are at a 4th grade level so that I know during my evaluation, I'm not asking 5th grade level questions and getting incorrect results. Or if the mom texts me and says, hey, so and so went into the hospital, or our cat was just diagnosed with an incurable disease, or whatever communication I have with whomever can go here so that I can remember it, but it's not something that will ever really be shown to anybody else unless it gets subpoenaed, which it's a-okay if it does. It's just my notes. And Ashley does something like this, but with a Google form with drop-down menus and such. Perfect. Ashley, when we get to, in the next 3 minutes, we'll switch over and do our data collection. I'd love for you to show me how that works for you so I can see about switching over, because I'm about ready to switch over because it doesn't have to be separate. Does anybody have any questions so far? Are you stuck anywhere? Cynthia asked, do you know how to change the folder colors and add icons to the folder names in Drive? Yes, I can do that. I do that for mine and it makes it easier to find things. Cynthia, I'm working in 2 separate accounts. That's why I'm having an issue. But I love that idea. So the way that, because I have the societies account that doesn't have my contract students, which is why I couldn't find it. I was like, time to give up. That's okay. All right, you guys, it's 7:30. You guys feel like you're a little bit ahead of the game here? We're about ready to move on. To wrap up what you guys are doing, and let me know if you need a little bit extra time. We can probably circle back around to this. Amber says on her Google Sheets caseload, she has similar categories, but she likes to hyperlink on each area. So she has a copy of the FVLMA in their folder. Yes, I will then have that linked in that column in her caseload. So good. Ashley says, I like the color coding of folders, but I also want some folders before others. So I will do 1, name a folder, 2, name a folder. Yes. And arrange them how I want instead of alpha order, if that makes sense. It does. That makes complete sense. And that's actually how we use Google Drive as well for the team. Let me see if I can show you one way that oh, here. So this, what I'm about to show you guys is her idea, but just on a business standpoint, because I can't show you my students, but this is how we do it here behind the scenes. So my business planning ideas, because I don't know how to make a business, honestly, marketing, and then pipelines and admin, it goes like that. And then one of the reasons why I do use the naming convention that I do is because I do like it in date order. So everything that we have comes up in date order. All right, you guys, we're gonna move on. Data collection systems using Google Forms. Does anybody else do data collection that's not in Google Forms that works really well for them? You're welcome to speak up and share. And as you're thinking about that, I'll circle back around. I again like to look at the macro going down to the micro setup. And we're all going to do something different. And that's why we're all using the chat and talking here, right? We're learning from one another. And that's exactly what we do here at the society. It's not just me teaching you guys what to do, you all are experts as well. And so when we come together and we really show up for one another, this is the collaboration that it looks like. I didn't really like think about color coding my students, but by districts, I would love to have that color coded. And that's an idea that Cynthia and Ashley gave me. Kimberly says she puts her session notes on her Google Calendar. Do you use Google Forms though, Kimberly? And if you want, you're welcome to chat about how that works on the back end because at the TVI symposium last year, whoever was doing the Google organization systems, during that presentation, I actually went through and linked everything in my calendar, and it was so good. Danielle says she uses calendar events with her Outlook to save the data in the details. Her IEP goal and data collection outline is already pre-saved, so she just adds it in after her session. And so Danielle, okay, then the question becomes, how do you get the data for progress report day and PLAFs? Do you have to go back to that specific lesson? And what about when a parent asks for the information? I would love to hear from you guys about those. Again, raise your hand if you want to voice, but you could just do it in the chat too. April says she does it as well. She puts a link to the data collection form in the notes description portion. Cool. Okay, so that's a great reminder. I'll walk you guys through all of that too. So again, I like to look at macro to micro setup when I'm using Google Forms. I'm going to walk you guys through Google Forms for those of you guys who are brand new. For those of you guys who are not brand new and you have a system, go ahead and use it. Let's see what we've got. No. Okay. So let me pull up my Google form for us here. Yeah. And I'll show you how I set mine up and you guys then take it away, right? Tell me what you would do better. That's been so key. Cynthia's asking, is there a way to give a Google form to a student without them having to visually identify motorcycles or traffic lights and pictures to prove they are a person? I've tried to use them in the past for students' route planning, but they had a hard time opening the Google form and writing their answers on it. Is there a better way now? I actually don't know. Cynthia, I think honestly I would like to ask ChatGPT. And a caddis. Also, oh, I did hit record. Okay. Jody says she puts her data into district created service logs, not easy to access digitally. But Jody, if that's what you have to do, then that's what you have to do. Danielle says, I have to add everything into our IEP system under service notes so it can be billed to Medicaid. I just copy and paste my notes into my service calendar in that system and it links to the student. That's a good system. Okay. So from me thinking about what Danielle says, I have a specific way that I write my IEPs so that I know where to get the information from so I can copy paste. And you guys, honestly, I've been doing this for so long. I didn't realize that I could write my IEP goals in that way until somebody took over for me for maternity leave. And when I came back and the new IEPs, he was like, yeah, I just copy and paste. And I was like, you what? How do you find that information? Because the way I had been writing the IEPs was all over the place. And so now what I do is I write them in such a way that I can copy paste the information directly into the progress reports. Going back to um, Google Forms for those of you guys who are new. Again, macro to micro. I do mine by district. You could do it by school. You could do it by student, however that works for you. I have right now just two districts that I work for, and typically I do one district at a time because they're schools, and then the other one. So I'm seeing oftentimes a bunch of students, and then I want one form when I sit down in my car, period. So I have a drop down here with students. Ashley's asking, can I ask if you're using Embrace IEP in any of your districts? I'm not. We're using Frontline, but Embrace IEP, tell us about it, Ashley. And then I put the date, the service time, how many minutes. I'm contract, so what I put in mine is going to probably be different than yours. And then I have the time here. I could have it the opposite because sometimes it is hard for me to figure out the service time and then the time I was there. And this is where the magic happens, is direct, indirect, or absent. Direct services, they go to a direct services section. If I click indirect services, they go to indirect, and absent goes to absent section, which is the next section it needs to go to. It just needs to go to notes. Then I do my direct service. I used to write the goal in here, but I found that I know my students' goals. So then I just write cane skills or street crossing or bus, and it just gives me a little bit more freedom than if I had every single goal there. And I'll show you why in just a second. And then data, I want to know how many prompts and what type of prompts they did. Again, I used to have this separated out, but I found that that doesn't work for me because of how it turns out on the back end. I need a very simplified back end, so my form is very simplified. I also don't want to be clicking a bunch of buttons when I'm in the car because sometimes the internet is not working by the time I get to my car, even if I was hooked up to the internet before when I was on campus. And then indirect, I have to keep track of how many minutes I do for everything because I have to charge for everything. I don't, because it's just how contracts work, how contract teaching works a lot of times, but that's a-okay. And then I also have travel. If you're contract and you need travel separate, you can have travel separate. Maybe you have your mileage, maybe you have your minutes of travel. However it works, I charge by the minute when I am traveling. So that's why I have travel here, because I need everything, again, FERPA compliant and accessible when I go to invoice. I also have notes in one section, and I'll show you why. So my goal here, my direct services, what I want to do then is then link it to my notes. Indirect will then go to notes too. I used to have notes in multiple places, but I don't want to do that anymore. Ashley says she was curious if I was referring to that in the last comments on progress reporting. Nope. No, I think every school that I've used, I think for the past like 10-ish years has been Frontline or East Ed, which turned into Frontline. So for my form, this is what it ends up looking like. There's no extra information here. I have the timestamp because it always takes it. Then I have the student name, the date, service time, the actual time, which makes more sense when it's already filled out and it's like 1 to 2 p.m. And then my direct, indirect absent, my goal, my data, possibly my indirect service type here, and then my notes. Jody's asking, so do you make a copy of the form for each time you see a student? No, girl, watch. I'll do it. So I'm going to copy that. Please let me know if you cannot see what I'm doing. You guys all still have this, correct? Now I'm going to fill it out. So student A, well, actually, let me make sure on the back end that I have my settings correct. I don't need to make it a quiz. What I do need to make sure is that I don't want to limit it to one response. So for me, I don't want it to be limited to one response. I want to be able to respond over and over again. Let's see if that'll save and work. And then I hope you guys are setting up your system as well while I'm doing this. Oh, okay. So I had it correct the first time. Then let's say, okay, today I saw my student for 60 minutes from 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock. It was direct today. Look at you. My goal was data collection, and they did very well. 2 forms completed. You can write in whatever works for you, and then my notes. Okay. Submit. And then I could submit another response as well. And then that turns into, hopefully it does it. Bam. That makes sense? Then what you can do is you can take this and go to your calendar. Y'all want to see what my life is really like. Okay. Then if I have my student, I can then link it right there. And then I can invite any admin or parent to it. And that's what I typically do so that they can see my data at all times. How are you guys feeling? Would anybody like to share? Yeah, I do think about the setup of the Google form. What's your question, Ashley? She asks, so you think about the setup of the Google form. If you guys do it a different way, let's chat about that too, because I think it's really important to learn from one another. Question about the template part, where is that located? That's great. Unfortunately, I can't give you a template, but what I can do and what I did do, I could probably give you access to this. Now, then that would allow you to edit it. What I gave you access to, because it's a form, it works a little different. I gave you access to a document that shows all of the parts. What it doesn't show is the linking of it. Yeah, B, can you see it now? The sections of the form? Okay, what I can do, because this probably isn't the most accessible, is after this, probably tomorrow, I'll go in and I will make you guys a document that gives you direct instructions. And if you have our old data collection worksheet, then that has the older way of doing it, but I'll make sure that you guys get something that's updated and I'll just put it on the simple organization systems document so that way you have it. Ashley asks, her question is, when you are setting up your Google form, you figured out what details that you wanted noted. Yes, exactly. So what I do, because I've been doing this for so many years and then stuck with a system that didn't actually work when I just, made something, is I like to think about what do I want? How do I want it to appear on the back end? Because it's not so much the front end that's going to matter. That's just like minute to minute stuff. It's the back end that's going to mess me up. If I have to look at like, okay, I put in the date here, and like I used to have direct service minutes, and then I would have the date and the time and the goal and and then I would have indirect service minutes and I would date and time. Then when I went to write my IEPs or my PLAFs or my progress reports, I was searching all over the place. Can you show me one more time how you linked your data where parents can see it? Absolutely can. So if we're going back here, okay, we have our form that creates this response that goes here. I'll walk you through it with enough time for you to do it. Then what I do is I just copy this URL and I make sure that it's shareable. Anyone with the link can view it. For my actual personal documents, this one is created to give away. Nobody else can edit it. But this document, anyone with a link can view it, specifically because Google is FERPA compliant and it is encrypted. And because I don't know what Gmail or Google email address a parent is gonna use when they try to look at it, and if you keep a mad parent from data, I have found it just escalates their anger, so I just give it to them. Oh, Diane, can you put that in the regular chat? Diane just sent me something. She she made a link to copy the Google form. And this is why we have Diane, you guys. Anyway, we're gonna go to my calendar and then in my Google Calendar, then I'm gonna go to edit event and I'm gonna drop it here. When I just hit right click and then I hit paste, it'll drop the link. And then I think for newer versions of either Chrome or Google, it'll also give me this option just to attach it. I can also drop the link to my actual form. So right now I'm on the back end of the form and I don't want to embed it. I want the link to it. So then that way I can do that as well. And this, see, I didn't do it. Ashley is asking, so if I have okay. I know how to link forms. It's not working. So if I have 16 students on my caseload, you make this one Google form to collect the IP data. Ashley, that's going to depend on you. I like to do it per location because that's when I'm seeing students. So, and everybody's going to be different. Some people drive 2 hours one way, 2 hours another way, and they want one form for all kids. Some people work with multiple districts, but they see one kid at 8 a.m. and one kid at 10 a.m. in different districts, and they want one day of forms. That's up to you. I like to do it when I get in the car because if you've ever read what's that? Clear Habits? No, James Clear Powerful Habits. It's that habits book, right? He suggests pairing two habits together. So I pair opening my car door and sitting down, which I'm going to do anyway, with data collection. It happens right there. That's the goal. It doesn't always happen right there, but that's why I allow myself to cheat a little bit sometimes. Ask Diane, she loves it. Does that make sense? That's how I do it. Atomic Habits. Thank you, Jody. Oh, such a good book. Such a good book. Patricia asks, she says she has one Google form for each student. It takes a little bit more time at the beginning of the school year, but it's easy at the end of the year to print the spreadsheet and turn it into her boss. Exactly. So, and I like the way that Patty's looking at it. It's not about the form, it's about the responses. What do you want the response sheet to look like? If your contract and you're having somebody else do your invoicing like I do, there's certain things that I can have on my spreadsheet, certain things I cannot have on my spreadsheet. Your needs might be a little different. Is there a way to share the result of the form without the parents seeing the data for all the students you're using the form for? Then Ashley, you're going to want to do one form per student. You can also filter by student, but they would see everything. Yeah, so I wouldn't. One form per student. Perfect. Okay, you guys, we're going to start to wrap up here because we have a few more things that I want to make sure that we get done. Namely, keep keep working on this. Let me walk through the last little bits here as we wrap up. Hopefully, you guys have some systems in place now. In the simple organization spreadsheet, I also listed um, communication guidelines too. Actually, I do want to show that. While I'm doing this, Diane, can you send me a direct link to all of the people who are in here? I don't have access to Slack right now. So before you walk into the new year, one of the biggest things that has really helped me doesn't have anything to do with data collection, has everything to do with communication. I've had to sit down and really think about what are my boundaries and what are my needs around communication. We're no longer in a time where we can be passive aggressive or even really aggressive. We have to master crucial communication if we're going to be effective. And in order to do that, you have to know what you're okay with. Thank you, Diane, and what you're not okay with. Also, crucial communication needs to happen within a 24-hour window of a rupture. And it has to happen in that 24-hour window without students hearing you. Oh my God, that is so hard, right? At least for me, if I don't think about this in advance. So I um, took the teacher welcome email from Rebecca Taylor. I'm also giving you her teacher website template if you want that as well. And I think that's it. And start to think about your systems for that. How are you going to set up communication guidelines with your staff? How do you want them to check in with you? How are you going to check in with them? How are you going to create a system around that? We don't have enough time right now, but if that's something that you guys want me to cover, I'm happy to do so. I'm going to be starting monthly meetups in Clarity for us to be able to talk about all of these soft skills that we really need to have that nobody's really talking about because they're not teaching skills. So the big question as we wrap up is really, how is this information going to help you to become a better teacher? Go ahead and write that in the chat. And as we do that, the next thing that we get to do is our gift box winner. I'm going to just go into a randomizer wheel, and I'm not taking out me or Diane or Ark or anybody. So I want you to think about, how are you going to use this information to be a better teacher? What have you taken from this? And how can you use it to help propel you forward? And while we do that, let me grab the actual gift. So for the back to school bash, ooh, we got Julie, huh? Okay, Julie, we'll reach out to you. What's happening right now is that we have little gift boxes with this that we made. So cute, little notebook. And if you're in the Clarity group and you participate, every week we are doing leaderboard giveaways too. So if you go, I'll walk you through it in just a second. If you're already in Clarity, we're giving away water bottles as well. They're super adorable. So Julie, I will reach out to you pretty shortly, or Diane will be reaching out to you, let's be honest. So that way we can get you your gift. All right, let's check in with the chat. We've got more time with our students, streamlining service minutes into Google Forms. Wonderful. Staying organized, organizing early. Less time spinning your wheels. Jody, yes, exactly. Because that's exactly what we want, right? Think about, you just spent 60 minutes with me. That was it. That's all that we spent together. And we could have spent hours working on this. And hopefully you will have a system already ready so that you can start the school year really well off. But imagine yourself in June. And just fair warning, we probably will go over a few minutes. So if you absolutely need to leave early, send me a direct message or send one to Diane because I do want you to have the CU code. It's just at the very end of this presentation. What we want in June is to have saved all of that time. We don't want to be rush all year and like stressed out and working on Saturday and Sunday nights just to search Facebook groups and all that. And like, what are we going to teach next? And we get to make those choices. But if nothing changes, then nothing changes. But if you make different choices, you get different results. But moreover, if you have different resources, then you can make different results because it's not just about, okay, I'm going to make a different choice if you don't have anything to support you. Just like I said earlier, you can't expect yourself to lift once and like become buff and win an Olympic gold medal for weightlifting. It's not going to work that way. And it doesn't work that way with teaching either. Teaching is a day in, day out, minute by minute exercise that you have to get your reps in. But the more you do it, it doesn't mean that you get bigger and better and bigger and better every single time if you're doing the same things over and over again, just like our bodies get used to what they're doing. You need different things at different times for different students. Joan, who's been in Clarity for a long time, says that the accessible lesson plans at her fingertips has really helped her to create well-rounded O&M lessons. What I want for you is to never run out of ideas again. If you're in Clarity, will you give us like uh, an emoji or something? We have over 250 people rounding out in Clarity, and it is the best group, but moreover, it's the best set of resources because every month you get 8 brand new lesson plans with materials and Julia, I don't know if you know Julia. Yes, Clarity, perfect. I knew it. And Cynthia's been with us since the beginning. She's a founding member. You get expert-led workshops every single month that are curated based on our group's needs. So it's not like a big institution just guessing and giving us like these super broad workshops that don't really apply to us. If you have a question, Julia, who's a practicing full-time TVI and O&M, she has so many creative ideas. It's so good. You guys, I'm obsessed. The entire goal is to give you everything you need exactly when and where you need it. If you've heard about Clarity before and you haven't signed up, we made a bunch of updates to make sure that this is the best way, the one-stop shop, the all-in-one resource. We now have an app. We also have a community chat. Right now we have a feed going. It's our communication there is growing and we have questions and polls and different things like that. But within the app also, you have daily challenges. You also have all of our blog posts and videos, and you also have access to all of your programs too. So it's so good. I don't even have my phone here with me to show you. We also have a brand new AI bot that we specifically developed, and he's getting better every single day. And the more that our community uses it, the better he gets. I know, Cynthia. So he's, of course, Louis for Louis, but also for Dr. Sandra Lewis. I don't know if you know her, but she was instrumental. So I was like, okay. Anyway, he has saved my little Tookus so many times, and he gives actually correct answers, and he will link the Clarity lesson plans for you. But if you're like, I don't really want that, like I've already searched in the library, he will come up with a new lesson plan for your student. So good. And during the back to school sale that we're running right now, the entire goal is to set you up for success. We've got some formatting stuff here, but the whole purpose is for you not to guess anymore, just calm, confident clarity. Jody, this is recorded, and all of our workshops are recorded too. Jared said that it has opened up so many possibilities for him. He was on the fence about joining, but then when he saw the video on Instagram, I had shown what it looked like. And if the video works here, I'll show you what it looks like now because the portal is even better than it was before. I want you to be able to try this without having to ask yourself any questions. I know that the prices for everything are skyrocketing right now. I spend $11 a week on eggs. Insane. I budget $27. I'll be honest with you. If there's something I'm spending $27 on in a month, I will budget it. And that also helps me to know where my money is going, which is often to random things at Target, which I'm sure we are all guilty of because we're all spending money. In this case, we're giving $25 off your first month of Clarity. It's only $2. Try it out for 30 days. If it's not for you, no big deal. You started the school year off on the right foot. You have an entire library of lesson plans. If you have a question about a student, you have an entire library of workshops. You have a community that you can ask questions of. If you want to reach out to Julia or myself and you want to write in the chat, you're more than welcome to. That is what we're here for. The entire goal is to uplift our profession. We are a small company on purpose. On top of everything that you get on a monthly basis, you also have a full library of resources. So you'll never run out of ideas. And then every month you get fresh new ideas and fresh themes. And we have make and take. Here, I'll show you one of the things. So we actually every quarter will send out an entire packet of stuff so that you can follow along with one of the workshops. So like we send all this out for you so that you can um make your materials with Julia, and it's completely free. And let's see if this video actually works. It's a silent video. It does. This is the inside of what my Clarity looks like. There on the left-hand side, this is the desktop version, obviously. You have all of our categories, and then what did I choose? Can you remember? AT. The lesson plans are right there ready for you. And when you log into the app, it's even faster. You have links to Google Drive materials, so you can literally just put it in your Google Drive. And then you also have downloadable links as well. So I clicked the downloadable link here. And then it just pulls right up. And there are my materials there. And this is all accessible as well. So that way, if you're using a screen reader or anything like that, it works. We're gonna look at one more thing. I literally today just went through and like picked whatever. So again, the downloads are up at the top and you can choose how you want it. So this is our PDF with our checklist. Diane, can you DM April the closing code if she has to leave? You haven't missed it. We just ended up working a little bit later. And then sometimes your materials are going to be the actual presentation. And it's all CVI friendly, VI friendly, super easy. You can pull it out from your phone and teach right then and there. And it's all on Google Drive again. So you can put it directly into your Google Drive. You can keep it for forever. I really wanted to make this easy for you. And you can just grab that link. We have a bunch of materials for CVI, and most of our make and takes are for CVI, but honestly, there can really never be enough for CVI. So if you have specific CVI questions, like CVI in autism or CVI in something else, let us know because Julia has worked with that type of student, I'm sure. But we do have a lot of materials for CVI. And then what you'll notice at the top, which I guess I didn't choose one, but if there's a specific other impairment, I'm just going through the actual presentation here that she's talking about the bells and the lights. Um, we'll put CVI up there. So all you have to do in the portal is go to the search function and then type in CVI and everything that we have will be right there. The other thing that you can do is ask Louie. And then just for fun, we also have Clarity badges and I click into that as well. But that's neither here nor there. That's just like super fun that you can earn the badges. Hannah says she was thinking about signing up for a CVI training because she has a lot of students with CVI who also have CP. We did a specific training on CVI and CP. However, there's no reason for you not to do both. I'm not telling you not to do that one, especially because this is the price is like super low. You know what I mean? Diane is putting the CEU form on the directory page. So just to recap, you guys, we've got a bunch of different resources for you. There's done for you lesson plans and materials. There's your AI assistant. There's your app that has your community as well. There's also your library of resources. What I didn't talk about, because most of you guys don't know it or don't really need it, is that when you join Clarity for $2 this month, you will get $25 off all of your everything site wide until August 14th. So when you sign up for Clarity for $2 before August 14th, you also have the opportunity to get the O&M Symposium and CVI Symposium for $25 off. If you're only interested in those, you can go to their website specifically and grab those links. But when you join Clarity Annual, then you'll also get VI Foundation. So if you have a big team who's really not getting it, and they really need support from you, VI Foundations is going to walk them through what they need to do to work with your students effectively so you guys can bridge that communication gap and they can have the information like what does acuity mean? Why is this TVI suggesting calendars? How does CVI affect my learners? Oh, what does glare do for my student? And how can I help my student use their cane better without being the one teaching the skills so that our students aren't always like guided? What I found for my teams is that VI Foundations helped them to have an understanding of where I'm coming from so that way when I suggest something, they're like, oh, okay, and they do it. Whereas before, it was just like another thing that I said. But VI Foundations is a full course. It also has CEUs and it is asynchronous and synchronous as well. Joe, do you need VI Foundations? Okay. I would suggest honestly joining Clarity Annual because Clarity Annual is $299 and VI Foundations is 200. So just join Clarity and then get both of them together. So that way you're covered for the whole year. If you are a teacher, VI Foundations, if you're an expert like a TVI or O&M, I will say right now, VI Foundations is directed at the teachers. However, we are coming up with the VI Foundations facilitators curriculum because again, I know for myself, figuring that out is so hard. Figuring out how to teach, like we as the experts, the TVIs and O&Ms aren't taught how to teach this, but AER is saying we're the ones responsible. I'm like, I don't have time for that. So, what we wanted to do is we're having our second round, our second cohort go through this. We've updated quite a bit, and I really think that this is we're at a really great place. So once we have that, then I'll send that out and you'll have access to that as well. And can we put the link to the checkout for our people who want to join Clarity right now? It's $2 until the 14th. And then I'll answer all the other questions. Perfect. So the link is in the chat right now. You guys can go ahead and check it out. You can also go to our website and look up Clarity if you really want to see what else is in there. But this will take you to the checkout page that has everything. You've already looked inside Clarity, so the sales page isn't going to say anything different. And then I'll answer questions about CEU. Let's answer some of your guys' questions right now. So we've got the checkout page here. Well, it's $2 for the first month. You can cancel anytime. Doesn't really matter. We just want you to be set up for success at the beginning of the year. And then $25 off if you want to join the O&M Symposium this year, if you want to join the TVI Symposium. O&M Symposium is happening January 28th through 30th of 2026. We are meeting in a few weeks for the first meeting. Oh my gosh, I just love this group. TVI Symposium, we've moved it to April because the beginning of the school year was a lot for a lot of people. So we're moving it to April. And Clarity is only $2 today and then $27. Most people stay almost 2 years, which is really great. I think we get a lot of great value from it. Clarity annual membership is right here. Someone's asking about the TVI Symposium. The TVI Symposium. Okay, let's break down what our conferences are. If you guys are new to us, I'm so sorry. All of our conferences are online and they're actually typically in Zoom meeting. So you can see everybody and then you can direct message each other, which is like my favorite part. And then we have dance parties at the very end, which hopefully you'll forget about and you'll be surprised later. But what it is TVI Symposium is typically 2 days. O&M Symposium is 3 days, but they're shorter days and a little bit longer break because O&Ms can't sit down very well for long periods of time. But we get together in Zoom meeting and we learn all in the same room and we have really deep conversations about the pedagogy of teaching, whatever topics are hot topics for that year. And we get people from all around the world to come present. We've had people from Croatia, people in Australia, a lot of people in the United States, of course, people in Thailand. Last year, we even did one bonus presentation in Thailand time for everybody in Europe and Australia. It was super fun. And this is really where, you know, clarity is super great like on the day to day. We need it on a day to day. But when you really need that like bump up and that like big community and that like high energy, high vibe, feeling like, wow, I can do anything, that like conference level, like, wow, without having to leave your family, without having tummy troubles because you're traveling, without your garden dying because nobody was there to water it, or having to find somebody to watch your dog or anything like that, or having to like pay for everything in advance and then hoping that you get it back before your bills are due. This cuts all of that out. And it's for a fraction of the cost of most conferences anyway. And it's way, way better quality. So highly suggested. The refund policies on our conferences, you can refund up to 1 week in advance. So if you get the agenda and you don't like it, ask for your money back. It's not a big deal. All right. Cynthia saying the technology symposium. I know, I love that one. Do you guys have any other questions about anything? I want to make sure that we answer them so that way you get a good feel for what's inside Clarity. I'm going to actually see about logging in. Um, and then I can possibly even show you the back end of what we've got. And then I might even be able to show you our community. Yes, there's a PO accepted for the symposium and for everything. If you don't see a PO link on the checkout pages, just email us because this sale is kind of complex to talk about. We'll send it to you. It's no problem. But POs are accepted for everything. Of course. Okay, you guys, let me show you the back end of Clarity, and then I will also show you our 272. I was wrong about the 250. Let me walk you through that. If you have to go, don't worry, you're welcome to leave. I'm not holding you hostage. Okay, so this is what the back end looks like here. And what I'm going to do is search CVI just to answer Heather's question. Now, it's not necessarily a matter of do we have already the thing that you need. It's if you have a student, can we get you that information or those ideas? That is a yes. Julia is constantly asking our community what you need. And you also have access to Julia too. She's the one who typically writes the emails. I took over this month, but she writes the emails. And so all you have to do is email into her directly or email us. She is more than happy to help. She loves helping teachers. So here's what we have on CVI, on the fly quick start guide for parents. And so this is under our resources, spatial awareness obstacle course, using iPad apps, CVI friendly scavenger hunt, CVI friendly visual schedule. And so you'll see here that if it's a teacher tool in essentials, that's there. If all ages means it's something that can be taught for all ages, and you can individualize everything in less than 5 minutes. And that's, the point. Can you put the direct link? Yeah, Diane can do that. No, Diane, can you direct message her the direct URL, not just the directory page? So we have a lot. Writing your name using different textures. So yeah, we could keep going. We've got a lot here. And if you look at the workshops too, there we go. We have so many workshops. This entire library is yours. So there's never, oh my God, we have so many. Oh my God. Oh, it's just gonna keep going. Um, there's never gonna be a time where you're like, oh my gosh, I have to recertify and I need however many hours of PD. Like, just make a cup of coffee, a pot of coffee, and you are good to go. A lot of times we'll get people saying, like, this is so great, but I don't have time to take in these workshops, right? And I'm sure you found yourself saying that as well. And the thing that's so interesting about that is we had a lot of people who told us that they didn't want to hear about the back to school bash anymore because they were so stressed. And I was just like, man, those are the exact people that we want to help because if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to end up with no time later. The reason that a lot of people are stressed is because of the way that they have been doing things. And today we already got to learn about new ways to do things from other people. Take that and exponential it, right? How much faster are you going to be? How much more fun are you going to have if you have different holidays? Now, we don't open all the holidays all at once right now. We're actually a little bit behind on our holidays. But if you have an entire library, or if you want to ask Louis, hey, Louis, like, give me a lesson plan for Valentine's Day that works on street crossing skills, I'm sure he's going to do it. Think about your needs for this next year and how you can get them accomplished. And not only that, but who you want to be at the end of the year. If you want to be stressed out or if you want to have glided through the year feeling supported, calm, and confident. All right, you guys, any last questions before we take off? Okay, it was so wonderful being with you. We have two more options of workshops that you guys can take part in if you want to. If you don't want to, it's not a big deal. Don't feel like you have to. Everything will be available for you until the 14th. And then it all comes into the Clarity portal anyway. So you'll have it for as long as you need it. I can't wait to see you inside Clarity this year. This is going to be our year. All right, friends, I'm going to stop my share. It was so wonderful getting to see you, getting to talk with you. I absolutely love this community, and we will see you next time. Bye, everybody.